There's mom me. There's nurse me. There's fiance me. There's divorced me. There's daughter me. There's so many different me's. I think when you're a woman that you just have so many different parts. I remember when we first got engaged and asking him, well, where are we going to be moving? And I remember him saying, well, we're probably going to be moving to Kentucky. And there's a snowball's chance in hell that we're going to Korea. I just remember being terrified. On my 23rd birthday, I moved to Korea.
We all were gathered at this building and they were debriefing us about what was going on over in Iraq. We all had suspicions because of everything that was going on in the media that this was definitely going to happen. We just didn't know when. And they called out the units that were being deployed. So my unit was one of the ones. What am I going to do with my daughter? Where's she going to go? Here I am by myself, not really knowing what I'm going to do with my daughter, how I'm going to do it. But the next day, my aunt called me from New York City, offered to take my daughter. And told me, I'll take her, no matter what. I had packed up most of her stuff, took her over there on a Friday, and I had to leave Sunday morning. And I left before she'd wake up because I didn't want her following me. I didn't want her crying. So I woke up extra early, and then I left before she could wake up.
Thanks to me, my sons are in the military. From the time they were little toddlers, I said, you're going to be in the military when you grow up. Knowing that we had 5 children, I knew I couldn't afford college. So I've always told my sons and my daughters, join the military, you'll get a good education. And I really didn't want my sons put in harm's way, but I did want them to serve our nation.
I define myself through my service to my country. I've been a soldier, I've been an Army spouse, I've been a Navy mom, I've been an Army mom. I have worked with military families. I work at the VA hospital as a social worker, in a VFW. My whole life is defined by my service. On the 1-year anniversary of 9/11, I got a phone call stating that we received a warning order to deploy to a country in the Middle East. They did not tell us where we were going yet. I walked in the house from work and the phone rang, and Sergeant Thompson was on the other line. He's like, we're deploying. And he goes, they're choosing just 130 of us to go. And I have a feeling you're going to be on the list. I was excited. I was excited that I was one of the 130 out of 500 people in my unit that was going to be chosen. And then after a few hours, when I was really thinking about it, I thought, why would I be excited to go overseas and leave my family for a year, and my husband and my mom and dad and everybody I loved? I was so scared that I wasn't going to come home.
I came back to Buffalo, it was Christmas time, and Bill had moved to Fort Hood to get a house. And Bill was in a car accident. He was in a really bad car accident. He was in the emergency room, and the emergency room nurse called me at my house and said, you need to get down here because we didn't think he's going to make it. And I was 9 months pregnant at the time. And I said, there's no way that's going to happen. I'm 9 months pregnant. I can't even get on a plane. At that time, 2 women that I had never met before called me on the phone and said, we've got this. We'll take care of this. We will call you. We'll let you know what's happening. Don't even worry about it. You just stay there and take care of the baby. 2 women that I've never met before, ever, who helped and took care of me. Never met before. He had a traumatic brain injury, he had staples all in his head, but those two women called me back and forth every hour on the hour. It's another example of women taking care of women in the military. When I finally got down there and when I met them, it was an awesome meeting because they were like, see, everything worked out, we got your back. And I'm like, they were there for me at the time that I needed them.
My aunt told me she was to sit at the door and wait for me. And then she kind of got used to the routine. She kind of got used to them. Coming back, you know, it was hard to even come back because now I'm kind of been out the picture for 6 months and she really didn't want me. You know, she was used to my aunt.
I just always had a high respect for our military men, and I always wanted my sons to serve our country and be in the military. When my son was in Iraq, of course, I was nervous for him and had my own ways of dealing with it, of coping with him being over there in harm's way. I kind of had my own little deal with God, I guess. I kind of sacrificed some of my own things at home because of his sacrifice. I figured he can't go to the movies. I'm not gonna go to the movies. He can't, you know, just have an ice cream cone if he wants to. So I didn't have any ice cream or chocolate, or I just kind of sacrificed a little thing on my end just in honor of him being over there and sacrificing for us.
When soldiers go overseas, they prepare their families to not return, because that's how we have to roll. Whether you're a man or a woman, you have to prepare your family as if you're never going to come back to them. So I started to prepare my children as if they were not going to have a mother. For my 13-year-old, it was more like talking to him about how I would expect him to be a good man and be a good husband when he got older, and I did the same thing with my 11-year-old. How do you tell a 3-year-old that they might not see their mother again? I told him to be a good boy for his daddy and to make sure that he listens to his teachers and that he's a good little brother and that he understands that his mom loves him and that I always love him, whether I'm here or not here. I gave each of them a 9/11 coin so that they understood that I was going there in support of all the families that lost their lives. That's why we went, because there were many children who lost their moms and dads that day, and that this was the sacrifice our family had to make in order to help those families. My 3-year-old, I couldn't let go of him. I just couldn't let go of him. And then my husband took him out of my hands and gave him to my sister. And then I left.
I had a master sergeant come up to me one day. He says, I see you as a mom, I see you as a Marine, I see you as Sergeant Cruz. When are you ever Felicia? I didn't even know what to say. Sergeant Cruz to the platoon. I'm, you know, a Marine mom, but I was not me. You know, you get home late, now you gotta be a mom between this time and this time. But then you're right back up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you're doing the mom stuff, but you still gotta be a Marine on top of your game. You still gotta go to formation, you still gotta do inspections, you still have to maintain, because they're not gonna cut you slack because you're a mom. You still have to be a Marine. I am very proud of my service. I would not have changed it for anything. I'm honored to defend my country.
I want to be known as that soldier, that NCO, that sergeant that didn't let down a soldier. I want to be that person that people can say, she never let me down.
I strongly believe that military wives don't get the credit that they deserve. They do not ask for it, they will never ask for it, but I firmly believe that they deserve a lot more credit than they get.